They got to their hotel room, which was number 13. Maybe we can find a board game or something, Periwinkle said. She was about to say that she had an idea, but the ringing of George's phone interrupted. Not this guy again. What can he possibly want? Periwinkle asked upsetly. George angrily said, I'm not answering it. And he turned off his phone. There. Now, George started, but his phone started to ring again. You have got to be kidding me, Periwinkle said, still upset. In a black smoke, a big creature popped out right in front of Periwinkle. Hey, Periwinkle, did you miss me? The villain asked in an evil laugh. Who are you? Periwinkle asked. The villain was named Hector, and he was not happy about what Periwinkle had asked him. I am Hector, he yelled at Periwinkle, using his magic to make her float up in the air. Hey, put me down, Periwinkle said, and Hector dropped Periwinkle on the floor hard. Periwinkle sat up with a bit of pain. Ow, I said put me down, not drop me hard on the floor, she added. Hector used his magic to do messy stuff behind his back. What are you doing now? George asked. Hector said, Oh, nothing at all. I'm just such an angel. And a hail ended up on his head. Periwinkle, still rubbing her head, said, Angel? She scoffed. You look more like a demon to me. And that done it. Hector took away his angel hail, put on a pair of demon spikes on his head, and used his magic to carry Periwinkle again. His head was in flames, and he threw Periwinkle so hard that she hit the wall where the trash can was. She tried to get back up, but she didn't have the strength. Periwinkle! George yelled in fear. George turned to find a way to get rid of them. Hector's sidekick came over and said, Oh, goodness, I hope she's not dead. And he laughed. His name was Jose. He was very dumb and a little funny. Jose and George had a short argument, and then Hector and Jose left in a magic poof. George carried Periwinkle to bed by her being on her back, which George had to put on her back. Don't you worry. I'll take care of you and everything. I promise, he said, and he himself went to bed too. Morning came, and there was a knock at the door. George slowly answered it. Hey, George, Winston said in his tearful mood. What are you doing here? George asked. Oh, little birdie told me that you were here with a friend, so can I please meet her/him? Winston asked George. George yawned and said, Well, it's a her, but once she wakes up, you can meet her. Really? For reals? Winston asked. George sat on the bed. He sighed and said, "Yes, for reals, Winston." George laid on the bed for a little while, and Winston and George had a conversation while they waited for Periwinkle to wake up. "Hurry up in there, George, I'm busting." George came out of the bathroom and said, "There, happy?" George asked sarcastically. Periwinkle woke up and slowly sat up. Hey, George, your friend is awake," Winston said. Periwinkle groaned. George gasped and said, "Periwinkle, you're awake." "Oh, yeah, question. Who is that?" And Periwinkle pointed a huff to Winston. "That's my best bud, Winston." "Best bud? Best bud? And who am I to you, Bobo?" Joke. Periwinkle was actually happy about Winston. And even though George and Periwinkle sometimes didn't get along, sometimes they did. Periwinkle said, "Okay, he seems cool to be a good friend of mine." Winston was so nervous-sighted to meet Periwinkle. The only thing that he could do was talk fast. Nervous and excited at the same time. "You are actually the alicorn. I can't believe it. I'm friends with a talking creature. This is awesome," Winston said excitedly. Periwinkle chuckled. Thanks, I guess, Winston." George walked over to Periwinkle's side and said in a low voice, "Don't mind Winston. He could be a little crazy sometimes." And Periwinkle nodded. "Oh, I have an idea. Since we've never seen a talking creature and she's never been to New York City, let's show her around," Winston said. "Well, actually, we can't," George said softly. Periwinkle began to make puppy sounds as she became sad. George sighed and said, "Fine, we can show you around the city." And Winston and Periwinkle cheered with excitement. "Woohoo! Yes!" And the three went downstairs to breakfast, and then they took George's truck to show Periwinkle around the city of New York.